I don't know if you follow the boxing world at all, but about 10 years ago, a man named James Toney won the middleweight championship of the world. He was 25 years old then, and they said he had a punch that was like a cannon going off. And he actually won the title from a guy named Michael Noon, who was actually a 20-1 favorite over Toney. But Toney's life is more than just his boxing career. Toney was an angry man. He was angry at his father. As a matter of fact, in a Sports Illustrated interview one time, he said that his dad did his mom wrong. He abused his mom all the time. As a matter of fact, he said his dad shot his mom in the leg and left her scarred. And then he left her. He left the kids. He left all of his responsibilities without warning. And so he went on to say that when he steps into that ring, he fights with anger. That anger. Everything is about that. Everything is about his dad and what he did to him. And he said he'll stop at nothing to knock that guy out. He'll stop at nothing to get that guy out of the ring because he's angry. Then he said, I fight with my anger. Everything is about that. When I step into the ring and I see my opponent, I see my father. And I have to take him out. I have to kill him. I will do anything to get him out of that ring. He finished by saying, I know where my father lives, and I hope he's reading this article, because if he ever shows himself, if he ever comes around, he said, I'll be ready for him because I want to kill my father. Anger, it's a strong emotion, and this morning we're going to talk about anger because it's an emotion that demands our attention. Because as we've seen in the life of James Toney, the anger that's not handled properly, anger that's not handled biblically, becomes a smoldering cancer that can eat us alive. And so, and it doesn't matter if it's the James Toney kind of outburst, explosive type of anger. It can be an anger that just sits below the surface, that kind of just wells up within us. It's kind of like that bitterness that's always there in our life. The scripture says it's an explosive anger that's ready to come out at any moment. The book of Proverbs says that a wise man is a patient man, but an angry man, a man that fuels his temper, is a fool waiting to explode. Another kid grew up in the same type of situation as James Toney. He too had a father who was abusive and abused his mother and was just did terrible things, and he too grew up angry like James Toney did. As a matter of fact, one time when he was in 9th grade, he was hanging out with his best friend and they were listening to some music, and this kid said his friend reached over and turned off the radio and made fun of the music he was listening to, and he said because he was so angry in life, he reached into his back pocket where he carried a switchblade around, and he flipped out the blade, and with all the force and all the fierceness he could muster, he plunged that blade into the gut of his best friend. But as chance would have it, the blade hit the kid's belt buckle and deflected off and actually broke the blade. And so this kid said, I was standing there thinking I could have just killed my friend, not believing what he had just done. He said he threw the blade down and he ran for home. And when he got home, he said he went into the bathroom, locked himself in the room, and he sat on the floor just weeping and thinking and trying to reason why he was so angry in life. And then he said he remembered something that a Sunday school teacher had taught him many, many years ago. He said that this person told him that if he was ever so desperate, if he was ever in a situation that he needed help, he could always pray and always ask God for help. And he said, that's what I did that day. He said, I gave my anger over to God, and God started to deal with me in my heart. Now, I don't know if you'll recognize this name, but Ben Carson was a black kid who grew up in the slums of Detroit. But now Ben Carson is the chief of neurosurgery of the pediatric ward of Johns Hopkins University in Baltimore. And he's given his life over to helping other people. And he said, I turned that anger into a passion for helping other people. He said, I took that which was causing fire in my life, and he said, I poured water on it, and I did something about it. My dear friends, if anger has been part of your life, if you've been hurt and you've been carrying around this bitterness, if you've been damaged on the inside and there's this cancer that's eaten away at your soul, maybe this morning, maybe now is the time to give that to God.